When I married Clara, I thought I had it all. A loving wife, a cozy home, and two beautiful children, Olivia and Liam. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable, and our family life was, at least on the surface, a dream. Or so I believed. My love for her was unquestionable, and my life revolved around my kids. But looking back now, I wonder if I had been blind all along. It started with a quiet suspicion. Clara had always been outgoing, but over the years her behavior began to change. It was subtle at first, more late-night errands, sudden text notifications she would swipe away quickly, and that nagging sense that something was off. But I brushed it aside. After all, I trusted her. She was my wife. Trust was supposed to be the foundation of marriage, right? Then everything unraveled. One Friday, I decided to surprise Clara. Work had been light, and I managed to leave the office early. I stopped by a florist and picked up her favorite lilies, imagining how her face would light up when I handed them to her. I pulled into the driveway, humming a tune, and stepped inside. The moment I opened the door, I heard it, a soft, melodic laugh, but not the kind of laugh she shared with the kids. It was something else, something I hadn't heard in years. I froze, my heart pounding. Slowly, I walked toward the living room. There she was, sitting on the couch, leaning far too close to a man I didn't recognize. He was tall, with slicked back hair and an air of confidence that made my stomach churn. They were laughing together, their hands almost touching. I wanted to storm in, demand answers, scream even, but instead I stood there like a coward, my feet glued to the floor. When Clara leaned in and kissed his cheek, I turned and walked out. The lilies slipped from my hands onto the porch. I got into my car and drove aimlessly for hours, my mind racing, my chest tight. How could she do this? How long had it been going on? Was it my fault? These questions plagued me, but I had no answers. That night, I came home late. Clara greeted me with a warm smile, acting as if nothing had happened. Her casual demeanor was both infuriating and heartbreaking. But I said nothing. Not because I forgave her. No, I could never forgive her, but because of Olivia and Liam. They didn't deserve to lose the happy, stable life we'd built for them. The days that followed were torture. Every time Clara picked up her phone, every time she left the house without explanation, my mind went wild. I began noticing all the things I'd ignored before, the way she would avoid looking me in the eye, the way she'd stopped holding my hand in public, the way her laugh with me had become forced and hollow. I couldn't escape the suffocating sense of betrayal, but I stayed quiet. For the kids. Weeks later, the truth slapped me in the face again. I was driving home from work when I spotted Clara sitting at an outdoor cafe. At first, I thought nothing of it. But then I saw him, the same man from our living room. They were holding hands, her face glowing in a way it hadn't in years. She looked happy, happier than she ever seemed with me. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, but I didn't stop. I drove past them, my heart shattering all over again. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long I could endure this. The breaking point came on a stormy evening. Clara had said she was going to her book club, but something didn't sit right. I called one of her friends, pretending to need something urgent. Her friend's response was a dagger to my chest. "Oh, Clara hasn't come to book club in months. Is everything okay?" That was it. The fragile dam I'd built to hold back my anger finally broke. I stayed up, waiting for her. She came home just after midnight, reeking of wine and perfume that wasn't hers. I didn't say anything that night, but I made up my mind. I wasn't going to let her continue disrespecting me, our marriage, or our children. The next morning, I took action. I transferred our joint savings into a personal account, leaving only enough for basic household expenses. Clara had never worked. She relied entirely on me for financial support. I stopped covering her personal expenses, forcing her to fend for herself. She noticed quickly and confronted me. "What's going on, Ethan? Why is there no money in the account?" I looked her in the eye, my voice calm but firm. "We're cutting back. If you want extra spending money, you'll need to earn it." Her face turned red with anger, but I didn't care. I wasn't playing the fool anymore. A few weeks later, I packed her bags. I couldn't keep up the charade. The kids deserved better, and I deserved better. When she came home that evening, I was sitting in the living room, her suitcases by the door. "What's this?" she asked, her voice shaking. "It's over," I said, my tone cold and steady. "You need to leave." She laughed nervously as if I were joking. "You can't be serious." "I'm dead serious," I replied. "You've been lying to me, betraying me, and disrespecting this family for months. I stayed quiet for the kids, but I can't do this anymore. You need to go." She tried to argue, but I'd already spoken to a lawyer. I showed her the paperwork, proof of her infidelity, plans for custody of Olivia and Liam. She was stunned into silence. That night, as I watched her leave, I felt an unexpected sense of relief. The storm that had consumed me for months had finally passed. It wasn't the ending I had envisioned when I married Clara, but it was the one I needed. Now it's just me and the kids. Olivia and Liam don't understand everything that happened, but they're happier, lighter, and so am I. For the first time in years, our home feels like a place of love and peace, a place where we can heal and start anew. No matter how hard it gets, I know I made the right choice. Some storms, no matter how fierce, are worth weathering for the sake of a brighter tomorrow. This extended narrative provides additional depth and reflection, ensuring a more engaging, longer format suitable for storytelling.